Imagine it's 4:20 a.m. Your phone buzzes with a motion alert from your doorbell camera. You check it and see a figure on your porch, wearing a bizarre, homemade mask and holding a cardboard box. They lean into the camera, and a distorted voice declares, "I am the box demon." They leave the box, turn, and vanish into the dark. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. For one homeowner in Pennsylvania, this was a real and terrifying event that happened in March of 2025. The investigation to unmask this strange visitor would solve the mystery of who they were, but it would leave everyone asking a much more unsettling question. Why? This is the story of the Pennsylvania box demon, a case that was officially solved in under 24 hours, but whose real meaning remains a deeply disturbing mystery. It's a story that proves sometimes finding out who the culprit is only makes their actions even more terrifying. On the morning of March 11th, 2025, in the quiet community of North York Borough, Pennsylvania, a resident named Tammy McCannany was confronted by something incredibly strange. Her Ring doorbell had captured a visitor at the unnervingly specific time of 4:22 a.m. The person on her porch was a baffling sight. They wore a tidy hooded sweatshirt, but their face was hidden by a crude omimadi mask. It looked like it was made from a paper plate, with large, unsettling eyes and a wide, toothy grin drawn on. Around the edge were multicolored tissue paper petals, making the mask look like a bizarre, wilting flower. This figure didn't just stand there. They leaned right into the camera, rang the doorbell, and delivered a message that would soon be all over the internet. "I am the box demon. I am the box demon. I leave you with this gift. This box is a gift for you." After the announcement, the box demon placed a large, empty cardboard box on the doormat, turned, and calmly walked away into the pre-dawn darkness. For Tammy McCannany, the discovery later that morning was jarring. Confusion quickly turned to fear. She had no idea who the person was, what box demon meant, or what the strange flower mask was supposed to be. The gift was nothing just an empty box. Feeling violated and deeply unnerved, she did the only thing that made sense. She called the police. When the Northern York County Regional Police arrived, they had a puzzle on their hands. There was no break-in, no theft, and no direct threat. The only evidence was the bizarre video, the empty box, and a very frightened homeowner. With no immediate leads, the police made a smart move. They released the footage to the public, asking for help identifying the person behind the paper plate mask. The effect was immediate. The story, a perfect storm of suburban security footage and surreal weirdness, was practically made for the internet. News outlets picked it up, and it went viral on social media. The boxed demon became an overnight sensation. Online communities of amateur detectives got right to work. Theories flew in every direction. Some thought the mask's creepy grin looked like Pennywise the Clown from it, but younger internet users saw a different connection. They pointed to a character from the popular online game Roblox. In a horror survival game called Dandy's World, a villain known as Twisted Dandy is a destructive, flower-like creature. The resemblance was hard to ignore. While the internet buzzed, the community of North York was on edge. The randomness of it all was what made it so scary. If it could happen to Tammy McCannany, it could happen to anyone. The box demon wasn't just a meme. It was a potential threat in a town that valued safety. The police department's phones were flooded with tips. The pressure was on to solve the case. Not just to calm everyone down, but to put a name to the internet's newest boogeyman. The digital world had cast its net, and an answer felt like it was just around the corner. The line between a terrifying local event and viral content had completely disappeared. If you find mysteries like this as fascinating as we do, please consider subscribing. Your support lets us keep digging into these strange cases. Now, let's get to the breakthrough that nobody saw coming. Just as quickly as the mystery blew up, it seemed to be over. Only a day after the footage was released, the Northern York County Regional Police Department put out a surprisingly short and anticlimactic update. They announced they had successfully identified and spoken to the box demon. The announcement gave no name, no age, no mugshot. It simply said the person was identified and, most importantly, there were no public safety concerns. The case was, for all official purposes, closed. Police informed the homeowner, Tammy McCannany, that they had found the person. Then, another layer of official silence. A later police statement noted that McAnany, now knowing who was behind the mask, does not wish to speak any further regarding this incident. For the public and the army of online sleuths who had been obsessively following along, this was a totally unsatisfying ending. The who had been answered, but only for a few people. The police had their person, the homeowner had her answer, and the rest of the world was left in the dark. This wasn't the dramatic unmasking everyone expected. The solution felt more like a secret. The authorities had basically called it a non-event, a prank that went too far. But for anyone who watched that chilling footage, the explanation didn't feel right. With the who hidden behind official silence, why became the entire story. And the more you look at the details, the less sense it makes. Police might have decided there was no criminal intent, but this fails every test of a normal prank. A prank is supposed to have an audience and a punchline. But Tammy McAnany was clear. She had no idea who this person was. In an interview before police closed the case, she expressed pure anger and confusion. She told a local news outlet, "I'm angry. I do want to know who would be too happy with having somebody ringing your doorbell at 4:22 in the morning. I know I didn't do nothing to this so-called person who runs around with a paper plate on their face. This wasn't a friend in a silly costume. This was a stranger." So if it wasn't a personal prank, what was it? Let's break down the elements that defy any simple answer. First, the persona, the box demon. This isn't a character from a movie. It's a specific, self-created title. The link to a Roblox character might explain the mask's look, but it doesn't explain the name. Why not call themselves Twisted Dandy? The name Box Demon suggests a personal myth, a character created for this one specific act. Second, the gift, an empty box. This is maybe the most psychologically disturbing part. It's the deliberate act of giving. Nothing. It's a symbol of a void. It isn't a threat of violence, but it's a profound violation. It's psychological theater designed to be unsettling, a promise that contains only absence. Finally, the targeting. Why this house? Why Tammy If it was a stranger, was the choice random? Or was there some twisted logic that made her the specific audience for this performance? Police have never released this information. By identifying the person but shielding their motive, they accidentally made the event even more terrifying. A monster with a clear reason is one kind of scary, but a monster who could be your neighbor, with no motive at all, is something else entirely. The lack of a why forces us to consider that maybe there is no why. It was just an act of pure, absurd, targeted strangeness. The story of the Pennsylvania box demon was officially closed in March 2025. Police did their job. They identified the person and determined no threat remained. But the case file is a ghost. The culprit's name is a secret, and their motive is a black hole. All that's left is the chilling doorbell footage and the deep sense of unease it leaves behind. The homeowner was left knowing who tormented her, but the rest of us are left with the far more disturbing reality of what it all means. It means that someone in a quiet Pennsylvania town felt the urge to create a bizarre identity, perform a strange ritual on a stranger's doorstep in the middle of the night, and then just melt back into their normal life the next day. The case doesn't leave us fearing a monster in the woods. It leaves us with the unsettling idea of the monster next door, the one whose motives are so alien they're impossible to understand. The mystery was never really about who the box demon was. It was about what the box demon represents, and the answer seems to be a glimpse into the bizarre, inexplicable urges that can hide behind an ordinary face, a gift of absolute emptiness delivered to your door at 4 in the morning.